afternoon, all of you, and I welcome you all to the second day of the 3 days online skill development program on the art of resume writing and interview skills. I hope you had an informative session yesterday, and at this juncture, I thank Dr. Ratna Prabhu for the enriching session on resume writing, which has received positive feedback from all the participants. Today, amidst us, we have Dr. Benison Tilagar Christadas, Associate Professor of the PG and Research Department of English of St. John's College, Palayam Kotai. He is a good friend of mine, and always I used to admire his mesmeric voice, which will make everyone to listen to him spellbound. I am sure that today and tomorrow, all of you will benefit much from his sessions. Dr. Benison has 27 years of teaching experience. He has organized hundreds of programs and hosted more than 160 programs. He has several publications to his credit, and he is an approved research supervisor and is producing several PhD and MPhil scholars. He has given numerous sessions on employability skills in several colleges, and today too, you will get lot of inputs from his session. The placement and counseling cells of Annamal College of Education thank him for accepting our invite to present in this webinar. I am sure that the efforts put in by the organizers will never go in vain, since they have identified very good speakers. Now over to Dr. Benison to give you all enriching and engaging experience in the next 90 minutes. Now over to Dr. Benison. Yes, Benison, now it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Madam Principal. Thanks a lot for this. Thank you so much. I am really taken aback on seeing the overwhelming response to this webinar. Almost 358 people are with us now this afternoon. So good afternoon, each and everyone here. Let's take 3 or 4 minutes to see who we are. And I just want you to introduce yourself in the chat box. We will take 2 or 3 minutes so that I can understand with whom I am talking and also who are there on the other end waiting for me. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, please again. Kindly introduce yourself quickly. Your name, where you are from, what you are doing. From Pachepa, from Hyderabad, okay. Dr. Vijay, Tyagaraja College, Trichy, Government Law College, madam. Okay, fine. From St. John's College also. Thank you, James, welcome. Vellore. Trichy Annamal College, Tuticorin. Nirmala College, from Sarataka. From Andhra, Pune. Adityanand College, Uma, ma'am. Osmania University, welcome, sir. Coimbatore, Sarah Tekar Supriya, Sivakasi, SFR College, STC again, Metco, right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for responding to my call. Thanks a lot. Now, when Madam Shanmugam from Annamal College asked me to talk on interview skills, I thought that I can add one more to this. That is resume writing. Yesterday, Dr. Ratana Prabhu, my colleague, did a wonderful job. I'm sure that you all would have enjoyed that. I'm sure I was also there with you, learning a lot from him. It was really a very useful session yesterday we had. That was wonderful. Now, this morning, I was reminded of another thing. Since we have it for 3 days, we should have planned it in such a way that we talk about group discussion also. First one is resume writing. Second one is group discussion. And the third one should be interview. Because interview is the final round to select a candidate for a company or for a school. We should have planned in such a way that all the three are covered up, all the three are given equal importance in our career to become a staff in a company or in a school. Well, now we have 2 days for interview techniques. We have enough time to talk a lot about interview techniques. Some of you may ask me, how can we talk about interview techniques, interview for 2 long days? We need actually more than 2 days to learn so many things that are related to interview. Fine, I'll try to do justice to the assignment that has been handed over to me. I thank everyone. You're here with us. Thank you so much. I think now it's time for us to begin the program. You can follow my presentation from your place. Don't ask for the PPT because the way I present will be entirely different from the way you are going to present. So kindly take a note of it, or you do whatever you can from your side. That's good. Right. Can you see my PPT? If you can see me, kindly respond to me by saying yes. Can you see my PPT, please? No? Now, you can open your channel. You can open your mic and respond to me saying yes or no.
It's not visible.
Okay.
I think the screen sharing is not done.
I have done it, ma'am.
In our part, just let me check. It's not yet screaming.
No?
No, not yet.
No?
No, sir. No, sir.
Then what shall I do?
But the screen sharing permission is given to you.
Okay, I saw that. There are 2 options. One participant can share at a time. Multiple participants can share.
Yes, the one participant is you. You were given that permission.
Yeah. I have done that. Can you?
Not yet.
No?
No.
What should I do then? You guide me, please.
Yes, we have changed you as a host now.
Yeah. Now shall I try?
Yeah, you try.
Now?
Not yet. Yes, host from Annamal. Can you get that? Can you get that PPT and share?
Hello.
Ma'am, can you, is it possible now?
It is not yet streaming.
Wait a minute, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it will come.
Okay. Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Okay. இல்ல வந்துருச்சு.
Yes, we can see
அவரோட
screen.
screen sharing option.
It's coming there, right?
Yes,
Now I
yes.
can see that. Okay. So, my friends, this is the topic that I have given to this presentation. That is a successful interview. Types, techniques, and tactics. Oh, someone has started scribbling on the screen. Kindly avoid that, my friends. Yesterday also someone was doing that. Please avoid that, please. Okay, right. A successful interview, types, techniques, and tactics is the topic I have given. Um, who is that? Someone is scribbling. Hello. Someone has given your mobile phone or your laptop to your friend or to your little kids at home, and they are playing with this. Please avoid this. Madam, can you see the lines drawn there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I hope they will cooperate again. It's coming. 1, 2. Right. And in this presentation, I have given you a bird's eye view of the presentation now on this slide. First one is, I'll start with an introduction, then move on to ignorance is not bliss, and what an interview is all about, why an interview, types of interview, forms of interview, characteristics of an interview, major objectives of an interview, methods of an interview, checklist before an interview, points to remember in an interview, some common interview techniques, dress code, body language, to do things and not to do things. Finally, the closing statement. So these are the things I'll be covering up on these 2 days. With the first one, there is always a process or system or a method in selecting a candidate. They don't straight away conduct an interview, but before that, they follow certain process, certain system, certain method. They have a way of their own functioning. What is that? Look at this. First, they give a call. Suppose a school or a college or a company needs people to work there. What do? First, they give a call. They give a call in the media, newspapers, magazines, company websites, social media like Telegram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. And then, based on the response, candidates are selected. Gone are the days when our own teachers, my own teacher, I can say, my own teachers were given or offered a job in colleges without any letter of application, without any advertisement in the newspapers. In those days, of course, they had only radios. Without giving any advertisement in the radios, the the teachers were given or offered an opportunity to teach in the college. A few of my own teachers, when they were working in some book companies or publishing companies, they had brought some books from those companies to the college on an order. When they had brought it, the then principal asked them what the qualification was. So they were simply salespersons. When they came and told the principal that they have finished their BSc or BA or UG in general, the principal had offered them a chance to be the tutors in the colleges. Look at that. And after that, after they were employed, they got their appointment. And after getting their appointment, they did their PG through correspondence. And then they were permanently appointed as assistant lecturers. Look at this. Now, these days are different. But look at this. Based on the response, candidates are selected. How do we respond? We first apply to the company or to the school or to the college. For that, we need to attach a letter of application. And this is done in both the ways. One is through a soft copy and also through a hard copy. Nowadays, we are given the mail IDs and we use the mail ID in the website. We go there, we visit the website, and based on the mail ID or that is available on the website, we apply. That is soft copy. On some occasions, we are asked to apply with a hard copy. And I have given in the bracket SIG and sign. I'm taking care of the placement cell in our college for the past 7 or 8 years by God's grace. I receive a number of applications, letters of application. Now, students, they forget to sign at the end. Sometimes even the graduates, the BE graduates, ME graduates, they fail to leave their signature at the bottom of their letter of application. And also, when they give their resume or CV or biodata, but these three are different from each other. I'll talk about that later. They forget to leave their signature at the bottom. So we must be very careful. Based on the response that we get, I collect all these resume, all these CVs, all these biodata, and I keep them there for verification. If a hard copy doesn't hold a signature there, immediately the company people reject the letter of application. That's why I have left this word sign at the bottom. Then, based on the resume or based on the CV, based on the biodata. Yesterday, in Dr. Ratna Prabhu's program in presentation, he beautifully spoke about these three. A resume is different from the other two. A CV is different from the other two. A biodata is different from the other two. A resume talks about your positives and also your qualifications. A CV, it talks about both your positives and also your qualifications, along with your extracurricular activities, core curricular activities. A biodata speaks about your height, weight, your color, your age, and so many other things. Usually, biodata are given to find a match. In matchmaking, they are used. But we don't give biodata to any college, any company. A resume is accepted. Preferably, a CV is accepted. So this is the process. First, they give a call. We respond to the call. And how we respond to the call is based on these three things. One is a letter of application. Number two, it could be in the form of a soft copy or in the hard copy. Number two is a resume or a CV. Third is CV. Well, it continues. Look at this. There is a scrutinizing committee. The scrutinizing committee does this both manually and electronically, depending upon the need and also the availability of the gadgets. Sometimes it is done manually. What do? They keep all the applications, all the resume just in front of them on the table. They go through that. They select the highly qualified, or sometimes for a few jobs, they select the underqualified, and they go for selection. When we go for electronic or the computerized way of scrutinizing, the computers decide who is to be selected and who is to be kept in the front. For that, when you prepare a resume, you might have been taught yesterday to write about the key words that you are possessing with you. For example, if you know some languages in computer, C++, Java. In addition to that, if you can talk about a few programming experiences, all these words will be picked up by the electronic gadgets, that is the computer, and the computer will place it for the notification of the company people. All the other applications, letters of application, or all the other resume or a CV will be rejected. So this is the way they scrutinize. That is a system for which we seek the help of LinkedIn and Naukri. They both help us how to prepare a CV or a resume. And again, how do we respond? as I've already told you, we apply, we do all the other things. Recently, an exam was conducted by the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission for the post of 2,500 VAOs. I remember, if I'm correct, if my memory is good, I think more than 7 lakh people applied for that. It's only for 2,500 posts, but more than 7 lakh people applied for that. What is this? What is this? How are they going to select the candidates then? It's very difficult to do it manually. So at that time, they seek the help of some gadgets, electric gadgets. So there is a process, I'm saying, there is a process in selecting a candidate. First, we apply with the resume or the CV. Then we have a group discussion, and then we have an interview. You have learned very well how to prepare a resume. Now, a few words about group discussion. Recently, we conducted an interview for HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. More than 600 students came to our college from the other colleges, also nearby colleges. Some students from final year students, they came from Madurai, Trichy, Dindukal on seeing the advertisement given through the WhatsApp. So they came, more than 600 students we got. The bank needs only 45 to 50 candidates. 40 will be posted, the 10 will be kept reserved. For this, how can they select 40 to 50 persons from the 600 people, 600 candidates? They cannot interview them personally. For that, they had a system. First, they gathered them all under one roof. One gentleman from the company spoke to the candidates. He addressed them all about the bank. Then after that, he told them how or what their work is going to be there in the bank. On listening to this, around 100 students, 100 candidates left the place, expressing their unwillingness to join the bank. The third one was group discussion. They were divided into groups. The staff members from the banks, along with the staff members from our college, we all helped each other in selecting the candidates. Group discussion was going on here and there. So we were walking around, we were observing the students, the candidates, all final year students. That's why I'm using the word students. All the candidates, those who wish to join the bank, were assessed based on their communicative skills. In a group discussion is, a group discussion is not for simply talking. That is to express our views logically, scientifically, and intellectually with all our effective presentation. That's very important. This is the age of breakneck competition. And you know that there is no room for the lotus eaters. A student or a candidate can survive in this world. Why? Even a staff can survive in a company only if he or she is highly competitive in spirit. Because this is the age of breakneck competition, and there is no room for the lotus eaters. Now, in the selection process, immediately after the group discussion, in the group discussion, we were able to select a few candidates, identifying them based on the way they spoke, based on the way they expressed their views, based on their body language, based on their dress code, based on their attitude in the room. We were able to select a few. Then after that, a 2-tier test, a written test and also a oral test was given to them. They both were given to them. Now, in the written test, they can pass with some effort. But when it comes to the part of the oral test, many students were not able to come up or rise up to the occasion because of the lack of communicative skills. Right? Group discussions and interviews are well-formulated devices. Yes, group discussions and interviews. Look at this. A resume, the candidate The candidate hides himself behind the screen. We cannot see his face, just a representation of his talents, his education, and every other, the other thing. In a group discussion and in an interview alone, one person's abilities are brought out. That's why group discussions and interviews are well formulated devices of judging the overall suitability of candidates. When they come, when they come, many of my students, students from the other colleges also, when they come, they don't come in the needed attire. They come in different colors. The students are, the present day youngsters are not bothered about their, their dress code. So each and everything is counted there. That's very important. Look at this. If you intend to etch out your path on the hot sands of reality, you will have to distinguish yourself with more than usual hard work and much more than usual perseverance. We have to prove that we are different and we are up to the mark to get the chance. Of course, it's a common tendency to take group discussion and interview lying down. What happens consequently? Even many deserving candidates fail to click, while many dog horses add feathers to their caps. For two reasons. Many deserving candidates are left out, left behind, because they are not in the needed attire. Number two, they don't speak, they don't exhibit, they don't express, they don't communicate. So in a group discussion and in an interview, these two are very, very important. These are the two tier things that are well formulated devices to judge the overall suitability of a candidate. So this is the introduction that I gave you now. So to be a successful person in an interview, what should we do? Number one, we should be aware of what we are going to do there, and also we should be aware of what is expected there. Sometimes, I'm reminded of a few movies. In those days when MGR, our former chief minister, Mr. MG Ramachandran, when he acted as even as a rickshawala, he appeared in full suit. He used to come with coat. He used to come with a tie. He used to come with well-polished shoes, and he used to come with modern wrist watches and all that. A beautiful cap he would wear. So that is one part. Not to impress his customers, he appeared there with his attire, with these dress code, with dress items. But when we come to an interview, we need to take care of certain things. So interviews, who is doing this stupid thing? Can't hear. Can't you chat in the box? Okay, sorry, you cannot hear. I'm sorry. Hello. Madam, can you type it out in the chat box asking him or her not to do like this? Madam Shanmuga, please there. Somebody is doing this.
Sir,
Yes, please, ma'am. Shanmuga, ma'am.
sir, in your screen there is an option called annotation. Stop
Annotation?
participant annotation, sir.
Wait a minute. I'll see that.
Okay, sir.
What is that in my screen?
Stop participant annotation.
Wait, ma'am, I'm trying to find it out.
Okay,
On my
sir.
screen, what is there?
Disable participant annotation.
Wait a minute. Okay. If I have done that.
Okay, sir.
Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Now I have to go back to my presentation. Where is it? Can you see my slide now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Some gentleman has asked me to be a little bit louder. Is my voice very low?
No, sir. Your
Is it
voice is
okay?
audible, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for teaching me to disable annotation also. Right. Thank you. Participants annotation. Thank you. So
Okay.
what is an interview now? That is a question. If you ask a person what an interview is, the general meaning talks about so many things. Sometimes a boy and a girl they meet. If they are going to get married, they meet. They talk to each other in a hotel or in a restaurant or in a workplace. They sit. They talk to each other. They come to know each other, right? If you ask graduate, for him the interview is different. If you ask a person who wants to go for his higher studies, for him, the word interview means something different. But it is fundamentally a social interaction. Fundamentally, a social interaction. It's very simple. A social interaction. It is a personal and official meeting. A personal and an official meeting. Look at this. It's a social interaction and it is a personal and an official meeting. I said personal meeting because when a boy and a girl sit, chat with each other to decide their future, it is a personal thing. It is an official meeting when people sit together or sit all alone to assess the ability of a person, to appoint him or her in the company or in the school or in a college. It is a personal and an official meeting between the interviewer and the interviewee. So that is the interview. Now the question is why an interview is. It helps in assessing the employability of a person. Suppose I need a person for the front desk work. That is, for the work of a receptionist or for the work of a phone call attender, telecaller. I need a person. I may get calls from the other states also, from the other countries also. For that, I need a person who can speak English very well. If the person doesn't know how to speak English well, how can I appoint that person in the front desk work? It is of no use. It will be an utter failure. So I am there to assess the employability of a person. That's very important. Recently, from a school, they came to our college to recruit students from our college. We have PG students. After completing their UGs, a few students might have done their B.Ed. So these students will be searching for a job sometimes. So companies, schools, the employees from the schools, or sometimes even the correspondents or the principals, they come to our college, they recruit the candidates, they're deserving candidates from our college. Now all the students, they will be students there. All the candidates will be students, but at the same time, when the correspondent needs a person, he comes in search of a person and he assesses the employability of a student, of a candidate whom they want to appoint. So an interview is conducted to assess the employability of a person. It is a scientific and methodical in its focus and process. Why do we have an interview? We have an interview to have a focused, processed, scientific and methodical way in selecting a candidate. Then why do we have an interview? It examines, it assesses the interviewee's subject knowledge, communication skills, behavioral pattern, and technical aptitude. Very recently, in a college, they were they were going in search of candidates to work as drivers. I asked them, what is the minimum or the basic qualification they needed, the candidates needed? The college people said 10th pass is enough, but the drivers should have a badge. We all do not have badge, the so-called badge given by the government. So they should have a badge, that is a special license to drive heavy vehicles. So that was the only thing that they needed. Many candidates came with their PG, with their MPhil, but they did not have the badge that the college was asking for. So in an interview, so many would come there, the candidate's subject knowledge, suppose the candidate belongs to the English discipline or science, any other science discipline or arts in general, this candidate's subject knowledge is tested. The candidate's communicative skill is tested. Is the candidate able to speak English well? Is the candidate able to communicate well? How is the behavior? What is the behavior? So all these things are assessed in an interview. It continues to judge the mental caliber of the candidate. Sometimes, in an interview, the candidates are irritated by the interviewers. The candidates or the interviewers are irritated by the interviewers. How do they face it? That is tested there. Sometimes it is conducted to assess the intellectual qualities, social traits, and one's interest in current affairs. Yesterday, Dr. Ratana Prabhu was beautifully saying, what are your positives? What are your negatives? You would mention in your resume. So when we talk about, when we say, suppose the interviewer asks the interviewee whether he or she has a smartphone, the interviewee would say, yes, I have. So what do you do with the smartphone? The candidate would say, I spend more time in Telegram, I spend more time in WhatsApp, I spend more time with PUBG, I spend more time with other games. So all these things would talk very bad about this candidate. So what is the interest of us, the interest of you and me at the most when we are there? The interviewers can try to know that. And then, in other words, look at this, an interview is conducted to assess the mental alertness, critical powers of assimilation, balance of judgment, clear and exposition, variety and depth of interest, ability for social cohesion and leadership qualities, intellectual and moral integrity. Now, I have come to the next part. So we have seen why an interview. Before that, what is the process in selecting a candidate? Now we are going to see something about the types of interview. Off-site interview, board interview, unspecified or unstructured interview, specified interview, and then person-to-person interview. You can very easily understand what off-site interview is, board interview is, unstructured or unspecified interview is, specified or specified interview is, person-to-person interview is. Off-site interview is nothing but an interview is conducted by keeping the candidate in one place and the interviewer in the other place. They won't be there in the place where the candidate has to be appointed. For example, nowadays, when we go in search of a job in a college, we are invited to go and attend an interview in that college. We should go there personally. We should present ourselves before them, and then they will assess our qualities. This is offsite. We will be somewhere, and the interviewer will be somewhere. From there, that interviewer will assess our abilities. Then board interview, there will be a group of eminent persons in front of us. They will be interviewing us. Unspecified or unstructured interview. we will be going on a walk with the interviewer. Or sometimes in a hotel, we'll be sitting and over a cup of tea or over a dinner, we will be having our interviews. Structured interview, some set questions, patterns will be there, and based on those questions or based on those needs, we will be interviewed. Person-to-person interview, this is one-to-one interview. Many times this is now conducted. Well, now come to this part. Again, it continues. Job interviews, that is the types of interviews, right? Job interviews, telephone interviews, stress interviews, panel interviews, and targeted interviews. Can you read with me? Go from job interviews, telephone interviews, stress interviews, panel interviews, targeted interviews. We will see next the characteristics of an interview. If there is an interview, there must be some set quality, some character for that. What are they? Look at this. First one is a close contact or an interaction interview. This is based on the dialogue we have. This is sometimes even possible when a boy wants to fix up a girl for his to be his better half. So close interview, very closely. They sit across the table. They speak a lot. They order a cup of coffee. They do this. In a job, we are taken that long time ago. It was in 1991. I attended an interview like this. There was no table between us. There was no set question with that gentleman. He called me for an interview. We met in a place, an unusual place. We sat on a bench. We were interacting with each other, just a dialogue. And he was getting whatever he wanted to know about me. This is one way. The next one is a face-to-face contact or primary relationship between the individuals. This is a very formal meeting. When we say that this is a very formal meeting, it has a set pattern in it. We need to be very careful about our behavior, our attitude, our replies, and all the other things. And the third one is the views and ideas. We have a very different. It could happen anywhere. That's why I have not mentioned that the characteristics of an interview. To know the views and ideas of others, we may have it anywhere, in any form, right? Why do we have all these things? The major objectives of an interviews. Number one, collecting information about qualities, collecting information through face-to-face contact. So interviews, what is the purpose of an interview? This one. Somebody was jokingly saying, why do they conduct interviews? They conduct interviews just to bargain. This also happens in some colleges, in schools, in some companies, in government jobs. They bargain. They bring us over there. They make us sit in front of them and they bargain. And the next one is collecting additional information, right? We have your resume in our hand. In your resume, you have said that this is this one, that one, and many other things. This is the resume in our hand. In addition to this, we want to know more about your personality, who you are. So this is an interview is collected to get additional information also. The fourth one is to form a solid tentative conclusion. How is that? A solid tentative conclusion. Formation of hypothesis. So for this, they conduct interviews. Now, I'm moving on to the next one. So now we have seen how an interview is conducted, why an interview, what is an interview, the qualities or the characteristics of an interview, and many more. Right. Now, interviews, I said, they are of different types. So they're of different types. Now, we will see one after the other. Now, the first one is, you can read from there. First one is clinical interview. Second one is selecting interview. Third one is group interview. Fourth one is individual interview. Fifth one is structured interview. Sixth one is informal interview. Seventh one is diagnostic interview. And the eighth one is research interview. On seeing the phrases itself, you can very well understand what they really mean. A clinical interview is conducted to speak about or to know the reasons of a person's sickness. It's used in the medical profession to learn the cause of certain abnormalities. We go to a hospital, we go to a doctor, we go to a clinic, we sit with the doctor, we spend around 15 to 20 minutes talking to him. He asks us a number of questions, and from the questions and also from the answers that we give, the doctor comes to a conclusion, the abnormalities that we are experiencing in our body. So that is clinical interview. And the second one is selecting interview. What is that? That is selection interview. I'm sorry, I have wrongly printed out here, typed out here, selection interview. For selecting a person on the basis of certain traits or qualities. Last year, we conducted an interview for a bank. For that, around 80 students from our own college, they came. Actually, the bankers wanted to have students who have cleared all their subjects with minimum of 60%. 60%. But we had around 80 students. When this announcement was made there among the audience, most of the students went out. So based on the qualities or based on their qualifications, in other words, qualifications, the students were selected. That is selection interview. Third one is group interview. Look at this. For ascertaining their views or collecting data. It is used in social research or opinion. This is very much possible among social work people. They go, they meet a group of people there in a place, they meet there, they interact with them, they assess and ascertain the views of the participants there, they collect data and they come back and they go send it for a research. For example, you might have met some help or self-help groups. So you go to the group, go among the group, you meet them, you sit with them, you work with them, you ascertain their qualities, you collect data, and finally you do a lot of homework to get a concluding part. Now, this next one is an individual interview. This is confined to an individual. Sometimes, when people come to interview us, they prefer a closed room. They sit in a closed room. Very recently, I was invited by a college to conduct an interview there to select candidates for teaching faculty. So we had a very closed atmosphere. Myself and the chairman of the college, we only two were there. We were interacting with the individuals. Whatever the recommendation the chairman is given, the chairman has to honor that. In some places it may be different, but it is confined to one particular individual candidate. So that is individual candidate. The next one is structured interview. This is, we have a questions. That's why I was talking to you a few minutes ago, that based on some set of questions, their wordings, their time and sequence are fixed to obtain information pertinent to research problems. B.Ed students, hundreds and hundreds of B.Ed college students are now with us. What do you do when you go for some research in a school? You distribute papers, questionnaires to them. You, instead of interviewing each student, you totally collect the answers from them. Based on the information that you have received from them, you proceed with the research that you are persuading with. So this is the one. The next one is informal interview. more flexible, more open. No schedule is fixed. From the other end, the interviewer sometimes will make a call to us and he would try to fix up a time with us. Hello, Mr. So-and-so. Yes, I am here. I am. I am from this company. Can I fix a time with you to interview this for this? So in that way, depending upon the availability of the candidate, they fix up an interview time, day, and place. Now, the next one is diagnostic interview. Diagnostic interview. Recently, something bad happened in a village, in a town, Satankuram, in Tuticorin district. What happened actually is something different from what is flashed up in the news items. Now, what is the cause of the problem? What is the cause of this social disturbance? What is the cause of this untoward thing? So in order to diagnose this, people go deep into the town, stay there some time, interact with the people, through their interactions, through such interviews, they get information, the needed information, and then they finally come to a conclusion. This is usually done by the police department and also the intelligence agencies. Now, the last one is research interview. The research interview is done to find the cause of a problem and to come to a conclusion. Almost the research interview and the structured interview are almost the same when we go with some questions. When we go with some questions to meet the students, to meet the graduates. So this is how an interview is structured. Now, it continues with the forms of interview. Before we move on to this interview, shall we take just 30 seconds break? What are we going to do in this 30-second break? You can have some water. You can clap a little. Hello, I'm back here. I'm sure that you would have used this time, 30 seconds, to refresh yourself, to talk to someone. So we need to have such things. Okay, fine. So now we'll continue with the forms of interview. Look at the first one. The first one is sequential interview. The second one is screening interview. The third one is structured interview. The fourth one is situational interview. The fifth one is stress interview. And the sixth one is panel or board interview. Now I'll go one after the other. The sequential interview, in a sequential interview, the candidate has to face several interviewers individually. Selection is done based on the evaluation of individual interviewer. I remember when I went for an interview in our college, 7 people were there sitting in front of me. They were asking me questions. The interview, the personal one-to-one interview went for more than 35 minutes. I still remember that day. 7 individuals, 7 persons were there, right from the chairman, secretary, principal, vice principal, head of the department, an external expert, something like that. 7 persons were there. They were asking me questions. So in a sequential interview, the candidate has to face several interviewers individually. Now, next one is screening interview. You can very easily understand what this is. Several interviews individually, but based on the evaluation of individual interviewer. Now, the structured interview, same set of questions are asked to the candidates. Candidates don't get a chance to talk to one another, and so no chance to disclose the questions. This is very important. This is very important. ICFO Tokyo, you might have heard about this insurance company, ICFO Tokyo. The students who were selected, they were asking for fresh candidates. Our freshers, that is freshers means from the final year students. If they were selected, they will be given 37,000, around 37,000 rupees every month. You just imagine, with a 12th qualification, with their UG degree, the students, the graduates will be getting 37,000 rupees will be given as salary. For this interview was conducted in our college. Around 70 students, 65 to 70, I don't remember the exact number. They came, they attended. You know what the interviewers did? They had only same set of questions, but they did not permit any student to mingle with the other. Suppose a student has attended the interview, he has to go and stay somewhere else. He was not permitted to use even the mobile phone. Same set of questions to understand the caliber of the students. Because in an insurance company, they have a different set of functioning. Now the situational interview, a situation is tentatively given or created, and the candidate is asked to demonstrate his or her skills and traits in dealing with the situation. I remember in one of the movies, I think it is Three Idiots. I don't remember the movie. A candidate will be given a pencil and he will be asked to sell it. So the candidate has to sell it. How can he? He has to. He has to. You might have noticed this in the bus stands. We will be sitting in a bus. The bus is waiting. The driver has not come at it. The bus has not moved away from the bus stand. We are sitting there among the passengers in the bus. Somebody will get into the bus. He'll have 3 or 4 pens, ballpoint pens in his hands. And he'll be selling that by saying this and that. We can do this and that with those ballpoint pens. So some people they buy, some people they hesitate to buy, some people they ask questions to that man. So in this way, you might have noticed all these things. Well, this is a situation where we have to sell. Sometimes the students come and knock at the doors of every house and they ask, Madam, Sir, I am an MBA graduate. I'm here to sell some products to you. So this is a kind of a demonstration. So in an interview, a situation is given, how a salesperson will act in a situation. All these things are demonstrated there. This is very important. Stress interview. More than one question at a time. So in a board, more than 6 or 7 people will be there. They will be asking one question after the other. Before we complete our answer for one question, the next question will be posed to us by another gentleman, and the next question by a lady. All the 7 will be asking very many questions to us, more than one question at a time. You know, somebody told me, somebody sometime back told me that the IAS or the IPS officers are trained to do 9 things at a time. 9 things at a time. Once I had a chance to meet our DIG, Mr. Jangid. I was sitting in front of him in the chair. He was talking over the phone. He was watching the news bulletin in the TV. He was writing something. He was listening to me. He was ordering something to his subordinate. See, 5 things at a time he was able to do. So in a stress interview, how do we cope up with the situations? How do we get along with the situations? How can we overcome all these things? These things are tested in a stressed interview. More questions without being allowed adequate time to respond. Unrelated bunch of questions. Sometimes, you know, stress, they would give us a stress by asking unrelated questions. They would ask us, our feelings will be provoked. Questions in interrogatory tone and voice. Yeah, interrogatory tone and voice. See, these things, they all come together at a time, at a time, at a time. We should know. Look at the driver. A driver concentrates on the road. He takes care of the gear. He takes care of the brake. He takes care of the clutch. He takes care of the accelerator. He takes care of the bus stop. He takes care of the passengers inside, but he is there called as a driver. Suppose in a classroom for teachers, teachers are sometimes they need to be policemen or policewomen too. Sometimes they need to be so. They must be very, very, very alert in the classroom. So they must, for even for a single response from the other side, from a noise, he or she should become very alert. So how does a teacher responds to such situations in a classroom? So it is going to be stress, but how do we cope up with that? Now the next one is panel or board interview. It's a common thing. It's a common form. The chairperson conducts with the help of a member or subordinates. This is usually done everywhere. This is usually done everywhere. Well, now again, finally, there comes a checklist. I think I want to stop with this today because this is quite interesting. So far, you have been listening to something very methodically, and now this is a little bit different one. Many people fail in doing this. I myself have done a mistake. A few years ago, I went with my family to a marriage reception. We went to one marriage hall. We wanted to greet the newly wedded couple there. I was searching for my friends there, no one was there. So I got my own doubt. Where have we come? Have we come to the same marriage where we have to go, or some other marriage hall? I was asking, and also I was asking my wife. Fortunately or unfortunately, she also had failed to read the invitation. So now the problem comes in. Where the marriage reception takes place, number one. Number two, at what time? Number three, when, that is the date. Number four, the couple. So we went into that marriage hall. We were asking for the bride. No one was there. Actually, the stage was empty at that time because the newly wedded couple have been taken away from there for a short time to give them some recreate or some relax, something like that. So we were there. We felt fish out of water. We didn't know what to do. This happens sometimes. Look at this. Confirm about the date, time, and location of the interview. Date, time, and location. Number two is be on time. For the ICFO Tokyo, I was referring to the interview, right? For the ICFO Tokyo interview, myself and my friend Dr. Ratana Prabhu, we went to all the classes to inform them that it was a golden opportunity for the final day students to come and try their chance with ICFO Tokyo. You know, the interview time was 9:30. Remember this, 9:30. Those who wanted to appear for the interview should come and gather near our placement cell sharp at 9:30. I told them, I very seriously want them not to come late. Two girl students from one particular department, they came and asked me around 11:15 if they can attend the interview. Just imagine, and you can imagine what sort of reply they might have got from me. So be on time. Third one is wear professional dress. You know, our youngsters feel that the checked shirt, that is the informal dress, that is the casual wear, will help them or fetch them a job. That is a professional way of presenting ourselves to the company people, to the interviewers. Wear professional dress. I will talk about that later on. Concentrate on the interview at the interview. Don't keep anything in your mind other than the interview. You know, it happened really. It happened really. There was a girl, she came to attend the interview. She came on time. She presented herself in the way she should be presented. She did everything. Before getting the announcement, the final announcement, whether she had been selected or not, she came to me and she told me that, sir, my mom is admitted in the hospital. She is now administered medication. I want to go and attend on her. Can I go? She asked me. Look at this commitment. Look at this. Her mom is in the hospital. She has come to attend the interview. She didn't want to miss the chance there. But when she was there in the interview, she was doing well in the interview. Look at this. Concentrate on the interview at the interview. Your interview letter must be with you. Many times, you know, our youngsters, our young boys and girls, they fail to do this. You might have got a call letter through email. Take a printout and come. That's very important. How do they know that it is you who have been called for the interview? So we should be very careful about it. Bring certificates, references, and get them ready before the day of the interview. Sometimes they come and tell us, sir, 12th standard certificate is with the college. My UG degree mark sheet is with them. My PG degree mark sheet is with them. Okay. You get a bona fide certificate from the principal saying that you are a student of that particular college, and get a signature and also stamp and get a letter in this letterhead and bring that. That will help you. On many occasions, students fail to bring references. Very important, my friends. Dr. Ratna Prabhu was talking about references. In a resume, we need to give references. Give very known persons addresses, and also tell them, inform them that you will be referring to them in the resume, and get them all ready before the day of the interview. Who knows, the next day there may not be any electricity. Who knows, your laptop may go in bad repair. Who knows, your desktop may refuse to boot. Who knows, there may not be pen, there may not be pencil, there may not be good paper there. So we must be very careful about such things. And then now again it continues. Look at this. Collect sample questions on job interview. For this, I would suggest you to do some mock interview. That mock interview will certainly help you. Do a mock interview with a career counselor. Get a good night's sleep. This is very important. Sometimes our candidates, they travel throughout the night, come to the spot early in the morning. They use a public toilet. They don't have enough space and time to take a bath, dress well. They come with their eyes reddish. My friends, have a good night's sleep. If you pay 300 rupees or 400 rupees, you will get a good place to sleep in. Nowadays, you can contact some ladies' hostels. Ladies, you can take care of yourself by staying there. Have a safe stay there. Just for 1 hour or 2 hours, you prepare in the morning and come back. Get a good night's sleep. Carry additional resumes for distribution. I tell you one thing. When you appear for an interview, you might have already sent a resume, but in addition to that, if you take copies of the resume and distribute the resume copies of the resume to the board members, they will be very much pleased. Second thing is, when you take printouts, please take in 100 GSM paper. Dr. Ratna Prabhu yesterday, he spoke about this. This will help you. And also see that the printout is so sharp, legible, right? Sometimes we have distorted printout. No, please take care of that also. And then employers typically require references. I have already spoken about this. If you have to do a formal presentation, be well prepared, and then practice. in front of a mirror or with an audience or friends or colleagues. My friends, most of the time when we go for some interview, we need to do this. From six, we can ask our own friends, college, your classmates, your colleagues, your learned people around you to sit in front of you, ask them to interview you. They would think from different angles. They would give you a number of questions. You would feel at home when you have such practice somewhere else and appear before an interview board. So practice, practice, practice in front of a mirror also. So you talk sitting in front of a mirror, you stand talking in front of a mirror. You should watch your eye contact, you should watch your hand gestures, you should watch your body movements, you should watch your head movements and everything, and be professionally ready for that. I think I can stop here. Right? Now you can ask me questions, my friends. It's time to ask you questions. You can ask me, please. You can unmute your mic and you can interact with me. Yes, please. Hello? Can you hear me? Yes, please. Somebody is entering
Am I
here.
audible?
Yes, you are audible. May you please introduce yourself?
I can't hear any. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, very much audible. You can go ahead.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma. Yes, you are audible.
You're audible. You can go ahead. Hello? Hello?
Participants, it's time for your clarifications. If you have any doubt, you can ask to our resource person. Dear participants, it is the time for your clarifications. If you have any questions, you can ask to your resource person. Or else you can post in the chat box also.
Hello, Tejashree.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, Tejashree. Now you can ask.
Sir, this is Divya Bharati. Good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
you can speak, sir.
Sir.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Right, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you for unmuting me, host. Please. Yes, please. What's the question? Somebody was coming in.
Tejashree.
Are you there, Tejashree? Tejashree, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, sir. One of the person asked,
Okay, what is that? I'm not able to see my chat box here.
okay, sir, okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. May I know who you are, sir? Welcome.
Sir, this is Yogesh
Yogesh
from Coimbatore, sir.
welcome.
I'm a B.Ed student, sir.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, how to prepare ourselves for a stress interview, sir?
That comes only through practice. That's why I said that we need to prepare with a practice. We cannot expect that all interviews will be very smooth and all interviews will go according to our expectations. You can have your friends in front of you, your own classmates, your own teachers in front of you, and you can ask them to ask you questions one after the other. So that's how we need to prepare. Sometimes we need to prepare only with this. No other way.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Sir, I have another doubt, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, will black pant and a white shirt will be good for interview, sir?
Hello, gentlemen. If it all depends upon the complexion, right? What is
Okay,
your
sir.
color? Sometimes you're not even preferably light color shirts are liked by everyone. You can go in sky blue. You can go in mild sandal, all in plain shirts. White shirts usually nowadays it is not found to be very appreciable. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Mr. Yogesh. Anyone, please?
how the process takes place for selecting a job in Infosys? One of the person asks, sir.
Ma'am, can I see the chat box? What should I do?
Sir,
Yes, please.
please stop your screen share, sir.
Okay. Wait a minute. Stop my screen share. Right, now I've got it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, what is the question? Oh, Sweta ma'am
How
has
the
asked.
process takes place
Wait a
for
minute, ma'am. Wait a minute. Sweta ma'am has asked a question. The dress code for girls. Can you wait till tomorrow? Yes, Sweta. Please wait. What is the dress code for girls? Kavya Sri has asked the same thing.
how the process takes place for selecting a job in Infosys.
Right. In Infosys, first of all, they give all the formal, and the resume is the first process that selects. They go only through online process. So the computer will select based on the keywords that you have mentioned in the resume. So first is that. Second one, now they have started conducting telephonic interviews. Now they have started conducting Zoom interviews through Zoom or Google Meet or whatever the tool we are comfortable with. It's going on like that.
Yes, sir. One of the person asked, how can we prepare for the online interviews?
Online interviews, there is a stress there. In an online interview, there is always a stress. So when we face people, there is a chance for us to vent out our feelings. But when we are sitting in front of a camera like this and attend an interview like this, there is always a stress. We do not know what they would understand, and so many questions come into our mind. Whatever it may be conscious of the questions they are asking us. Less words, more safe. It doesn't mean that we should not speak, but we must be very careful in speaking. So online interviews usually, they don't ask us to teach. They don't ask us to work on a computer and solve a problem based on that, based on a thing. So these things are different. When we have a face-to-face interview, uh, very recently one computer center came to our college to select programmers. So what they did was they brought around 5 or 6 laptops. They needed softwares there. The students were given opportunities to work or to solve a problem based on that software. But these things, I don't think that are possible nowadays if the interviews are being conducted through online. But it is being conducted. Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Arokya Mary, ma'am. Sir, I have fear to speak English. How to avoid this? One Jayapriya ma'am has asked this. How to avoid this? Can you find a person to speak in English who can understand, at least understand English? Number one. Number two, can you find a person who can speak at least a little bit of English to you? Can you understand, can you find a person who can speak well English with you? These three things I have given you. Number one, who can understand English. Number two, who can speak at least a little English with you. Number three, who can speak English very well with you. If you can find a person like that, maybe see nowadays the school going children, the matriculation school going children, CBSE, central board schools, public school children, they speak beautiful English. They are very, very fluent in English. They know many words, much more than what I know, I must say, because those words are being introduced to them from the textbook. So they speak beautiful English, so we can interact with them playfully, not as a class. Playfully, we can have a time with them, we can interact with them. For me, what I would suggest you is, please, my friends, you should not interpret in the other way. For me, the best way to learn any language, the spoken form is, I used to listen to Christian messages, church messages in my early days. In those days, we didn't have YouTube. When I was a student, we had only tapes. But nowadays, we have YouTube channels. You can download any channel as you wish. Find a speaker who can speak in English first, and you must also find a person who interprets the same in Tamil. Please listen to me. I take time to explain you this. When somebody speaks in English, and when somebody interprets it into Tamil, you have time to repeat the same words of the preacher. So when somebody speaks, somebody will be interpreting. Same time is being used by the interpreter. So when you listen to this speaker who speaks in English, repeat unto yourself. Repetition is the best way to learn any language for the matter. So if you have difficulty in speaking any language, Malayalam, Hindi, or whatever it may be, you first listen to that language and find a person who speaks or who translates or who interprets that into our own language, into your own language. You may be a Hindi speaking gentleman or a lady from your side. You want to learn Tamil. You want to learn English. Some Hindi preacher who preaches in Hindi will be there, and the same message will be interpreted into English. So when you listen to that English, you start working with the translator. So the speed is picked up. So the words are picked up. So the intonation is picked up. That's the easiest way to pick up any language for the matter. That is the only way. If you can find somebody, some politician who speaks in English, of course, some politicians are good, some politicians are very bad in speaking English. If you can find someone who can speak in English, and when somebody is interpreting it, repeat the English words unto yourself loudly. First, you repeat unto yourself, and then you start repeating the same sentences, same words loudly. In 10 to 15 days, you can find an amazing change in picking up the language. That's very simple, very simple. You try that at home. God will bless you. Sir, can you explain how interview will differ from corporate teaching and government level interview? What are the different that will take place in these level interviews? Yes, see, some conduct interviews very sincerely. Some conduct interviews just for the sake of conducting it. Some conduct interviews with a lot of expectations, but they do nothing. They do nothing. So from corporate to corporate, it differs. From school to school, it differs. From person to person, it differs. You know, I was telling you, I was quoting one incident. I was sitting with the chairman of a college. That gentleman doesn't know how to speak English well. He can understand a little. And whatever we do say will be very simply accepted as far as his knowledge, his experience is concerned. So when we converse in English, we, that is myself and the candidate, we had a good time to know more about each other. And but this gentleman, he was simply sitting and he was sitting and watching us conversing. And finally, I used to conclude, sir, this candidate has done this. She answered in this way. He answered in this way. And these are the plus points. These are the minus points. So he would say, yes, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. That ended the interview. On some occasions, the chairman, the chairperson of that school, the college, they are really learned persons. They come well prepared. At the corporate level also, they do it in a different way. So it depends. Can you tell me how to start and finish an interview? Can you wait? We have started. Can you wait, madam, till tomorrow? I'll do that. Sir, how to overcome the fearness while attending the interview and how to avoid the question from the interviewer, which we don't know the answer. No, this is a very different question. To take away the fear, we need to do some practice. And how to avoid, how to run away from the questions, that's a very bad thing. We are going there only to answer the questions. In 1998 or so, I believe, or there was a recruitment by the government for TRB. I know one thing happened in Madras, in the government office. It was actually a stress interview. The candidate led the interview to be a stress interview, because when we attend an interview, we must be very careful in our words. We should not give lead to the interviewer to pull us down. So we must be very careful in that. This lady has acted in such a way that she knew everything from English literature. So what happened was, the interviewer started bombarding her with a lot of questions. So she had to escape from the place. I tell you what happened. She pretended as if she swooned there. This is a very bad example. We cannot avoid questions, but at the same time, we should get into the interviewer's room with the question, if I am not given, who will be given? For that, we should have done a lot of practice. Sometimes, in the classrooms also, very good students, they might have scored very high marks in the examinations. When they are given a chance to speak in the classroom, they won't speak. But if you give them a question paper into their hands, they would answer and they would score high. So speaking is an art. So practice it, speak, practice well. When I will be the next person in the interview room, that I don't know. Does the interviewer also need to get as prepared as the interviewed person? Yes, we need to. It's a beautiful question. Should an interviewer prepare well like the interviewee before entering into the room? We need to. Suppose I'm asked to be a member of the panel. I need to prepare at home and I must prepare myself in my subject. What are all the questions I should ask? How I should ask? I should not harass anybody. I should have that in my mind. I should not corner anybody. I should not bring an embarrassing situation to any candidate. So all these things I must prepare at home. I must mentally prepared, intellectually prepared when I enter into the interview room. How to avoid stage fear in interview time, sir? Now, it's not a stage. It's not a stage, Madam Vanilla Shekhar. It's not a stage. It's going to be a room. Don't be nervous. Don't lose yourself. You gain confidence and you go there. See, I tell you one thing. If I am not given this chance, who else will be given this chance? Let this question be there in your mind. For that, we need to prepare a little, we practice a little, and we need to practice in that sense. We must have a chat with the others. We must ask them to ask us questions and so many other things. I'll talk about that later, tomorrow. Come. What qualities they see most to select a person? It's a good question, Mr. Okay, Shaheen Hilali. Okay, right. This is a good question. To teach in a school, the quality, it starts with the degree, B.Ed or M.Ed. B.Ed is enough, right? To teach in a reputed school where this candidate has had his or her studies, that's very important. Again, some situation comes. A teacher has to be a parent also sometimes. A teacher has to be a police personnel sometimes. A teacher has to be a friend sometimes. So we need to rise to the occasion accordingly. So that is the thing. That you sit and think about it, you'll get a lot of answers for that. Yes, madam, welcome, Vanilla Shekhar, madam. You want my ID? You contact the organizers, they'll give you. So how to overcome our grammatical mistakes or some other mistakes in English when interviewer asks questions frequently? Oh, this is a wonderful question. Grammar, we need not go and learn. I was referring to you from my own experience. Listen to a good speaker. When we listen to one good speaker, we will get a wonderful experience. I have a non-Tamilian research scholar. He is doing PhD with me. Sometimes he would speak in Tamil and he would say, principal ave room la illa. Look at this. Principal ave room la illa. Avan is a Tamil word that doesn't give respect to a person, right? So the principal is not in his room. Just to say that in Tamil, he would say, ave principal room la illa. Principal ave room la illa. He would make a call from his place. He's a non-Tamilian. He would make a call from his place. He would ask me, நான் நாளைக்கு ஊருக்கு வரமாட்டேன் எனக்கு லீவு தருவியா So all grammatical mistakes, simple mistakes, how can he overcome this? The more he listens to Tamil, the more he gets the grammatical points. That's how he can very easily that's how he can very easily come up. Thank you, Gurkar. Thanks for your compliment. Sir, can you suggest us some demo questions for the teaching faculty? How we should face such questions? Tomorrow I'll be giving you. I think we have, you have asked me enough questions in the chat box. Can you come online? Can you unmute your microphone and talk to me? Outlook, what is that outlook? Means your external appearance, you mean? Yeah, I have, when I talk about the dress code, I'll talk about the combing of our hair, and then I'll also talk about our chapels. You can pick it up from there. What do they expect from us? Tell me about yourself. Yeah, all the answers for all such questions you'll get tomorrow. Thank you, Tizarao Glad I'll also be with you tomorrow. Fabulous presentation. Madam Saranya, thank you very much. BCom final year. I can write in English fluently, but I can't speak fluently. How can I overcome it? Start with the rhyming. Start with the rhymes. Baba Black Sheep, you might not have forgotten it. Sing that, say that, and also keep a book in front of you, just with your elbows distance. At this distance, keep a book in front of you, the book that you love the most. Keep it in front of you. You start reading it. Your voice must reach only to that book. It should only the book can pick up your voice. The voice should not go beyond that. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the mic in front of me. So that alone will help us to have a control over our voice, have a control over our words, and also have a good give us a good exercise. Can write? I think you want my mail ID? Madam, please get it from the organizers. Thank you, Mr. Rajagopal. Yes, you need it. Dear organizers, if you're willing, please type my mail ID there. Will reading a book aloud help us to improve our speaking skills? Yes. Yes. I don't know where you are from. You're from Tamil Nadu or from other state. In Tamil, there is a beautiful saying. Selvathul Selvam, that is a Tirukural. Selvathul Selvam, Sevichelvam, Achelvam, Selvathul Ellam Thalai. The more we listen, the more we gain. Listen to me, please. My dear participants, the more we listen, the more we gain. The more we gain, the more we listen a particular song, even a song. I can sing in Hindi, I can sing in Malayalam, I can sing in any language you mention, provided I'm given enough time to listen to that particular song. The more we listen the tune, the more we gain the tune. The more we gain confidence. The more we gain confidence, the more we hum it unto ourselves. The more we start humming it, the more we start singing. The more we start singing, the more we become the masters of the tune, particular tune. So that is very important. So listen, speak. That will help you. How can we improve our pronunciation? That's why I was referring to, I listened to one particular preacher. He is Dr. Stanley, Charles Stanley. He's an American. I listened to him. How to improve our pronunciation? That's a very good question. This is the problem with many of our teachers. Even teachers pronounce so many words very badly. I don't say wrongly, very badly. Ask, jump, look, work. What is that? Cook. What is that? So the best way to pick up pronunciation is listen to a good speaker. Nowadays, you get plenty of YouTube videos. If you type as English conversation BBC, you get a number of videos. You just use a headphone. I don't say earplugs. You don't use your earphones, but get a headphone. Spend some money. Get a very good headphone. Listen to that English. Repeat that unto yourself. Use your tongue. Use your lips. The words will come out automatically, so beautifully. Thank you, Anubhava Kumar. Maimoon ma'am, sir, I think we should know phonetics. That's good. That's good. That's good. That will help us a lot. That is the right way of using learning a language. But how many of us do spend time with English pronouncing dictionary? Even the teachers of English have forgotten the book. Many teachers do not own a copy of the book, English Pronouncing Dictionary by A.S. Hornby. I suggest you, better you buy. I'm sorry, Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, Daniel Jones. Thank you. Sorry, Daniel Jones. So how can we Thank you, Muthuswamy Nathan, sir. Daniel Jones. We should own it. We should go or start from the monosyllabic words. That alone will help us in many ways. So suggest me how could improve fluency, which type of books we study to improve fluency and pronounce, and what I do for this. See, dear participants, this is my feeling. It has already come down to 197, around 490 or so. Now it has come down to 197. Thank you so much for staying with us, dear participants. See, for me to listen to, let me start in this way. If you read the New Testament, the parts of the Holy Bible, right? If you read the New Testament, have the English version in one hand and have the have another version of that happens to be in your own mother tongue, maybe in Malayalam or Hindi or Gujarati or Bengali, whatever it may be, Tamil or something. Have it side by side, compare them, read at least one page a day. You get the right construction in English. That is reading. For speaking, listen to one particular good speaker and repeat his speech. That will help you in many ways. How to face telephone interview. We'll talk. Practice in the right way. Practice with the right tool. Practice with the right
Sir, kindly unmute yourself, sir. You are not audible now.
Is it now?
Yes, sir. Now we
Thank you,
can
ma'am.
hear.
Thank you. As a faculty, how I have to guide my students for their interview. Sir, you can pick up from us. Yes, you can pick up from us. Take notes. Conduct a mock interview in your class for your class students. They will remember you forever. Teach them from the beginning itself how to come for an interview, how to come prepared. Right? I will talk about all these things tomorrow. Even giving a file matters a lot. Even giving a file to an interviewer matters a lot. We'll talk about that later. So how the interviewer will expect us to answer? Do we want to answer them in a single sentence? If necessary, answer in a single sentence. Don't give them any unnecessary lead that will end up in chaos. Suppose I ask you to mention the name, or I ask you a very simple question. How do you spend your time, leisure time, I ask you? You say, by reading. Then I ask you, what's the name of the book that you last read? You may say anything. You can say anything. Unfortunately or fortunately, if I had read that book, if I start asking you questions, how will you answer? So we must be very careful in an interview. Pavitra ma'am, I have to think twice before sharing it. Shall we say thank you to the participants, dear organizers?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
in an interview, they may asking number of questions. By any chance, we can't answer the question one or two. May that impact on us? It depends, sir. Before that, Dr. Jyoti Tiwari, regarding the terms of salary. Yes, I have an answer for you tomorrow. Coming back to Dr. Madam Ragini, will that impact us? That depends. That depends. Sometimes if we want to show up our side, the interviewers may get irritated. Welcome, Dr. Jyoti. Right. Thank you so much. Yes, over to organizers, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We had a really very good session, sir.
Thank you.
It's the time to give vote of thanks, sir. Yes, Prema?
Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma, you can continue.
A very good afternoon to all. It gives me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. First, I would like to thank our college secretary, Mr. S. Muralidharan, for his encouragement to conduct such online programs. I extend my hearty thanks to our resource person, Dr. B. Benison Tilagar Christodas, Associate Professor of English, St. John's College, Palankotai, for his valuable sharings on interview skills. Thank you so much, sir. I also thank my beloved principal, Dr. A. Joycelyn Shamila, for her enormous efforts in arranging programs in this COVID-19 pandemic situations also. My sincere thanks to the organizers for their hard work they do to organize such programs through online platform effectively. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all my participants who have joined this webinar and made it successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, participants.